What's really going on in your brain when you watch porn? It's a huge debate, right? Well, today, we're going to cut through the noise and look straight at the neuroscience.
So let's just dive right into the big one, the question everyone argues about. Is porn addiction actually a real thing?
To get a real answer, we've got to set aside all the opinions and just follow the data. And it turns out, the clues are buried deep inside our own brain wiring. Okay, so first things first, we need to talk about what addiction even means today. Because honestly, the old school definition just doesn't cut it anymore.
For a long time, we all thought addiction was just about substances, drugs or alcohol. But science now recognizes something called behavioral addiction. This is where a specific behavior, not a chemical, can basically hijack your brain's reward system, acting almost exactly like a drug.
And look, this isn't some fringe idea. This is serious medical science. The American Society of Addiction Medicine officially calls addiction a disease of the brain's reward circuitry. Notice what's missing? They don't even mention drugs. At its core, addiction is about a compulsive hunt for a reward. Any reward.
So, the big question is, how does this incredibly important brain circuit actually get hijacked? Well, it all boils down to this really simple, three-stage cycle that's the engine behind every addiction.
Deep inside your brain, you've got this thing called the reward pathway. Just think of it as your survival circuit. Its whole job is to reward you for doing things that keep the species going, like eating and sex, by giving you a hit of a feel-good chemical called dopamine. And that dopamine basically tells your brain, hey, that was great. Let's definitely do that again.
It all kicks off with a binge, a huge flood of dopamine that feels amazing. But here's the thing about your brain. It adapts. Pretty soon you hit withdrawal and you start feeling anxious, just awful without it. And that pushes you into the final stage, this all-consuming craving. And this is the absolute key. You're not chasing the high anymore. You're just running from the low.
Right. So, how does something like internet porn, something you're just watching, manage to tap into this incredibly powerful, ancient biological cycle?
Well, this is where things get really fascinating, thanks to modern brain scanning. With tech like fMRI, scientists can literally watch the brain react in real time. And what they're seeing, it's a stunning overlap between compulsive porn use and drug addiction. Okay, get this. When compulsive users see porn-related cues, key parts of their brain just light up. We're talking about the brain's headquarters for craving, emotion, and attention. But here's the kicker. It is the exact same neural pattern that scientists see in the brain of someone addicted to cocaine when they see drug paraphernalia. The brain is treating the idea of porn like a drug.
And it's not just about what parts light up, it's about the wiring itself. One study found that in infrequent viewers, the part of the brain that's supposed to be your CEO, in charge of self-control, was hyperactive and poorly connected. That's a brain signature that's directly linked to intense craving and a loss of control.
All of this points to this really powerful and kind of tragic idea in addiction science, the split between wanting and liking. Basically, the brain's wanting system goes into overdrive, creating massive cravings. Meanwhile, the liking system, the part that actually gets pleasure from it, starts to get weaker. So the drive isn't about feeling good anymore, it's just a compulsion.
Okay, so we're seeing these changes in brain wiring. But, so what? Do these changes actually show up in how people think and focus in the real world?
Well, that same study put this to the test. They had people perform a cognitive task, then watch a 10-minute pornographic video, and then immediately do the task again. And the results for the frequent viewers? Pretty dramatic. After just 10 minutes, they showed a significant drop in their performance on a test that measures focus and self-control.
And it wasn't just accuracy, their reaction time slowed down too. This isn't just a vague feeling, it's a real, measurable decline in the brain's ability to focus and control impulses right after watching.
This all leads to a really big question, doesn't it? Why is internet pornography in particular so powerful? To get our heads around that, we need to pull in a really cool concept from evolutionary psychology.
It's called a supernormal stimulus. All that means is it's an artificial stimulus that's so exaggerated, it triggers one of our ancient instincts even stronger than the real thing. The classic example is a bird that will literally ignore its own eggs to try and sit on a giant, brightly colored fake one. Its brain is just hijacked by the bigger, brighter version.
And once you know what to look for, you see these everywhere. Junk food is a perfect example, engineered with way more salt, sugar, and fat than anything in nature.
Or video games, designed for constant rewards. Well, internet pornography, with its endless novelty and exaggerated scenarios, fits that model perfectly.
Now, the risk with constant exposure to this kind of supercharged stimulus is tolerance. Research has suggested that for heavy users, their brain's response to normal sexual images can actually get weaker. It's like their brain gets so used to the 10 out of 10 intensity that real-world intimacy no longer hits the same.
And, as always, it's super important to remember this is all just a look at the general science. It's for your information. It's absolutely not personal medical advice.
So here we are, living in a world of perfectly engineered rewards. Technology is just getting better and better at creating stimuli our brains find almost impossible to resist. And that leaves us with a profound question. In the face of these supernormal temptations, how will our ancient brains adapt?